Okay, so I'm going to make a video showing how to use model prop. Just some of the key features for setting up an atlas texture and using it for AGK. So there's two examples I have. I have an image that has an 8x8 grid. You can actually see it also has 16s in it as well. You can actually mix them up. You can have an 8 grid alignment and a 16 grid alignment, and you'll still be able to use the texture alignment in model prop to set it properly. So this is the custom one I'm using for my game. Here's a custom one used for Minecraft. This one uses a 16 by 16 grid, and this image total size is 512 by 512. The other image I'm using is 256 by 256. The image size does not matter, but the grid size does. You need to have, it needs to be exactly the same. It needs to be 8 by 8 or 16 by 16. And whatever the length of the image is fine. It just has to be square. Okay, so we're going to load my model prop program. Notice the source code is there. I really don't care what you add to it or do to it or whatever. It's free because it has a memory leak in it and eventually crashes, so can't really do much with it. The Blue Gaiu plugin that I'm using, it has some sort of memory leak with the buttons. So when I'm in vertex mode, I have like a button that flashes. Apparently it starts leaking memory. I could probably change that, but the tool works as it is, so I would just use it. Okay, so let's just go over the basics of moving the camera around. I'm going to put this mouse tutorial in the corner so you can see what I'm doing with the mouse. By holding this button in, I can look around the scene. If I press this button, now I'm also moving in and out. So with this, you're able to completely navigate the scene. To go straight up and down, it's not showing it, but the middle mouse button's supposed to be lit up right now, but it's not. I'm actually holding the middle mouse button plus the right mouse button to do that move. Other than that, you can completely navigate this scene with just the mouse, but you have to hold the right mouse button in first, and it also has to be in all the time. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that, yeah, it shows it there, but I'm gonna have to fix that. I'll fix it in the next update. Okay, anyways, that's how you navigate your scene. If the program crashes after a long use, don't worry. When you open it again, it reloads the last thing that you were working on. Basically, it records up to 50 edit undos and redos, and it literally loads up the 50th one. So if it crashed, you could load it back up, and you'll be able to go back 50 times that you've edited if you needed to, which is good and safe, I think. But if you're starting a new scene, we're going to have to clear it because it will load the last scene that you edited in. If you need to reset the camera where it was when you started, that's in the tools here. Don't worry about this YouTube channel. It doesn't go anywhere at the moment because I don't really have any videos populated. This will be the first one, or most updated one. Okay, let's load this object in. Actually, let's just make an object and we'll texture it, and then we'll set it to an atlas texture. So in the object tools here, you can see some basic shapes. These are the main basic shapes for Dark Basic. So you have a cube here, sphere, cone, cylinder, and a plane. We're going to load the cube. Normally the UV mapping for this uses a full-sized image. So we can use this P button in the corner. Remember, you're not going to see this unless if you're on the Object Tools bar. Press P and just click the first one. And we'll locate our image. We're going to use the Minecraft image. And just say Done. Now, if I don't have the object selected, this will say Select Limb. It'll just be empty. If I click it, it'll say I have the box selected. I can rename it, but it doesn't do anything for the object file itself. So I can click this preview button now, and it applies the image to the object. You can see that it uses the full image right now. This specific one, I'm gonna change it so it uses the track. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 buttons down. So what the P1 button is a 16 grid mapper. The P2 button is an 8 grid mapper. So we're going to press P1 and we're going to count down, what did I say, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Apparently I said 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't stress out if you get it wrong. Just click it again. The button's big, the last button you pressed. You can try the one beside it. Okay? We're literally texturing it with the Minecraft Atlas texture right now. Okay. You know what? Here's a good one because I can demonstrate another function as well with this. So in Minecraft it has a grass top and it has these dirt ones on the side and probably a dirt one on the bottom. So I'm going to edit this object so it has grass on the top and dirt on the bottom. Right now this is a single object. If you wanted it this way, you could just go File, Export OBJ, and you're saving the object. Okay. If you need to fix the rotation or the pivot, simply rotate it where you need it and hit this Fix button, and that'll re-zero the geometry to whatever you set it to with an angle of 0 as default. Okay. So back to my example of fixing this. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go Vertex Tools, and I'm going to click these are the editing functions of the Vertex Tools. I'm going to click this one. This one's Moving Vertex Points. Okay, and you'll notice there's a checkbox here that's now flashing. This is the memory leak, by the way. So what we're going to do, this button here selects all the vertices. Selecting it again deselects them all. Now these 3 buttons here are the ways that you select your vertex data individually. I'm going to press the triangle button and now you can see the triangles lit up. I'm going to click this triangle and that triangle. Now, just in case if these 2 triangles use any vertex data shared with these ones, I'm going to press this button. This button breaks the selected triangles away from the rest of the geometry. So I'm going to press it, even though I know it was already broken. So now it's broken for sure. And I'm going to press this button. This button outputs that shape or whatever's selected to a new model. So new object created. Now I'm going to delete it because it's no longer needed. Now I'm going to go underneath the object. And again, the mouse works exactly the same as it did in the other mode. I'm going to select these 2 triangles on the bottom. I'm going to break it away from the rest of the geometry. and I'm going to output it as a new object, and now I can delete it again. Okay, now I say we're done, so I'm going to click the checkbox. Okay, you can see there's two new objects there. Well, you can't see it, but if I click on it, you'll see it. So now I can remap that object. So I'll go to Object Tools, we'll click on P1, and I'll find that grass texture top, and you can see how it's now using two different textures. And now on the bottom, I'm going to click that P1 button, I'm going to find the dirt. And now you can see it's using dirt on the bottom. To merge this, like right now, this is actually three objects, okay? I'm going to merge the three back together. So I'm going to click the main one. This button here is to merge an object. So now you can see it says pick. You can press this to select it out of a list, or you can try to click on it and it should add it in. The object turns white, don't be alarmed, you just got to retexture it again. Now that's one object. Okay? If you go underneath it, now we need to add the dirt back to it, the bottom piece, right? So I'm going to click this, I'm going to say merge the bottom. Okay? Now we've got one object. Now I can export that as an OBJ file, and it's using an Atlas texture. One problem with this, now that this is a single object but it's using multiple UV data, if I go back into P1 or P2, it's actually going to completely ruin it. I can go in here now and select something. You can see that it's completely ruined it. Okay? I can never get it to look the same way I just did, the way I had it. I would literally have to start over. Okay? So once you merge an object together with its new UV data, don't change it. If you do end up needing to change it, you're going to have to redraw it. Okay, so we'll undo a few things I did there. We'll get back to this. This is what I had. Some quick button features with this. By selecting this on your keyboard, you can press the F button, and that flips it 45 degrees on the Y-axis, okay? We'll set it back to 0 though. If you press the R button, it replicates it. Pressing Q, A, W, S, E, and D move the object. So I've replicated it, and now I'm multiplying it all over the place, okay? Okay, so again, if you wanted to, you could merge these all together and it could be just one object. In this instance, because they're squares, I would use Dark Basic's built-in CSG commands to remove the faces that are inside that are no longer needed if you're going to merge them together. I could click this and I can hit this plus button and click the next one. Now this is one single object. I can click that again and hit the plus button. Now that's all one big single object. Okay? And what that's done, you can't see it here, but because we did it that way instead of using the merge, when I go into the vertex edit, you no longer have the faces that were inside. They're deleted. If I use merge, they would have been there. Okay? That function doesn't work for everything. It works for cubes the best. And when you do some complex shapes, it starts messing up. So you gotta watch over and make sure that it doesn't start deleting some of the indexes. So that's basically it for that. I will do some better in-depth tutorials on this as soon as I can. I'm going to give one more quick tutorial on vertex editing. Let's say that you needed to Okay, let's modify this object first, and then we'll give it a reason that we might need to make a change to it. Okay, so we have this shape. Let's say all you wanted to do was make this curve on the other side. You can scale it with a negative value. So you can go minus 100. Now you can see what's happened is the faces are all inside out. You can click on the vertex tab now. Well, before you do that, fix the object so the pivot and everything is fixed. Okay, so now you can texture it. It's an inside out object. Go to vertex tools, click on this one will do, the moving one. We want to select all the vertice points, and there's a nice little button here that says F, and this is to flip the drawing triangles. We press this and boom, done. Click the check mark and you got an object facing the other way. It does it proper because it doesn't draw the inside faces. There's only outside faces drawing. You could technically in AGK use the cull mode where it draws both faces, but I do think that the normals get messed up on that, so I recommend doing it that way and then saving it out as a new object. One more quick thing with the vertex tools. I didn't go over these buttons very well. This one was to select by triangle face, okay? By selecting these, I selected two faces. You can see that I'm only moving those pieces. I'm going to undo that. If you need to actually grab the entire, there's probably like 3 or 4 vertex points in this one square, and the way you select all of them is by clicking this button until it has a red dot in the center. Now when I click this, I selected it. Now I can move it with the mouse, or I can use QWEASD to move it in increments of whatever this number is set to. Right now it's set to 1. If I set it to 10, I can press these buttons and just move these over, whatever's selected. Okay? That's how that works. You can select obviously multiple points and do modification. If you're lucky, this button will work and select the entire shape. Sometimes it works like it did there. Not all the time though. Okay. Remember, if you had things selected and you just want to edit something else, press this button to select it all and then unselect it. Okay, and then you're starting new again. I think that's all I needed to really say. If you're going crazy and actually creating new geometry, well, I recommend having this off. Select just one point and press copy, and now I have a free vertex point that I've created. Let's say I wanted to make a triangle now. Make sure that this is not lit. I'm going to click on this, click on that one, and click on that one. Now it says 1, 2, 3. I'm going to press the I button on the keyboard that draws an index. Now you have a new triangle. The problem with this triangle is that it's sharing 2 vertex points. So you can select this now. This button here breaks it away from any other geometry, and this will output it to a new mesh, and this will delete it. So now I've got a whole new object right here. You can see it doesn't really have any decent UV mapping. We can give it a plane map by pressing this, and then we can select one from the atlas texture and then save it. Again, this is just a quick video on how some of the things work on this. Thanks for watching. Post some questions or whatever and I'll try to answer them and make more videos. Okay, thanks for watching.